Welcome back to Let's Talk. I am Shamika Grace. How have you guys been? I hope you all have been well. I pray that God has been good to you and that you are prospering even as your soul prospereth. This afternoon, I'll be speaking about dealing with depression in pregnancy, how I dealt with depression, how I overcame depression in my pregnancy. So without further ado, I will go right into it. So as you guys know, who would have watched my previous videos, my father is a strict man and I got pregnant while I was separated but not divorced from my first husband. When I found out I was pregnant, I was already staying by my parents' house because I used to be sick before, and Mr. Grace insisted that I go and stay by my parents, which is my current husband, or he would come there and stay with me, and I didn't want that. So when I did discover that I was pregnant, I had gone to a doctor because my mother had insisted that I go see a doctor because I was just home and very sick. And she said she's going to take me to the doctor. But I didn't want her to go to the doctor with me because I had believed that I had cancer. The way I was feeling, I thought, surely this must be cancer. And so I didn't want her to go with me because I said this would be too much for her, knowing that she's a sick woman, she's hypertensive, she has suffered from many strokes before. I said, nah, I'll go by myself. So the other day I went to Dr. Tantoko and I told him what was transpiring, and he said that you're pregnant. And I said, no, I'm not. He said, pass some urine for me, please. I did. And he came back with a positive pregnancy test. Yeah. So I broke down, I cried, and he spoke to me, told me it wasn't the end of the world, and I was lucky. A lot of women wished that they would be pregnant, but I am pregnant while others cannot get pregnant. And so I came home. I didn't tell my mother anything at that time. I spoke to my aunt, and I think after talking to her, I felt comfortable enough to go and talk to my mother. Because when I spoke to my aunt, she told me she was happy, she was excited. She's a straight shooter, so she told me all she had to tell me, not condemning me. And so I told my mother after, and she was so happy. Mommy was so happy. She said, don't worry about anything. I will talk to your father, and she did. And from there, I decided, you know what? I will go and tell my siblings, but I would take the hardest one first. So the one that I think that would be the hardest to face, I'll deal with them first. So I remember this Sunday morning after prayer meeting, I told my big sister, one of my elder sisters, and she said to me, congratulations, you're going to be a mother. And I said, well, okay, that wasn't too bad. She didn't ask any questions. She didn't come down on me. She just said, congratulations, you're going to be a mother. So I went to my brother and I told him, and he said, if God was to mark iniquity, who shall stand? And so I said, yes, man, this thing ain't going so bad. So I went on and I told the rest of them, and everybody was happy for me. But at the end of the day, I had me to face myself. And I felt like if it had two of me, myself, and another me looking back at me and with a face like this. Like, really? And so I had myself to deal with. And I was so depressed. I wouldn't eat. I didn't want to bathe. I hardly slept, and I cried a lot. I came out to work, eventually to clinic. Oh, my mother was there. She kept talking to me and encouraging me. I remember this time I went to clinic, and when the doctor started to talk to me, I started to cry. And he seemed to be baffled, but he called the nurse inside. He went and he spoke to the nurse rather, and she came back inside, the nurse Rampasad. And when she began talking to me, I had to straighten up. Her method was a bit unorthodox. but I had to straighten up. And she said, nobody don't have it easy. And she shared her experiences with me. She said, so whatever you're going through, know this. Everybody does have something to go through and you will get through it. And Nurse Rampo said, I love you. I hope this reaches you. I have not seen you in so long. I haven't heard from you. I'm not hearing from you, but I love you. And so, she was my support in clinic. But back home, it was my mother, my sisters would call. There was no form of judgment. And when I say my sisters, I include my sister-in-laws. They were there for me. Everybody surrounded me. I felt like if I had a wall enclosed around me, holding me up. I didn't want to talk to the baby. Mommy would say, you need to talk to the baby, and tell him what you want him to be. And she used to try to make me excited, Let's go and pick up things to pack your baby bag with, all these kind of things. And it wasn't working. Pastor Reed will call me every day. My aunt from Canada would message me all the time. My next mother, as I call her, from Nova Scotia, she was there checking in with me, Auntie Mel, Nadika, Keisha. They were there along with my family. Nobody, not one of them asked any questions or casted any blame at that time. I guess they understood that I already knew the situation that I was in and I didn't need that at that time. I needed their support and they were there. And believe me, I did not know exactly when that demon of depression left me. But what I can remember is during that time I wasn't really praying to God as I should have been. It was just ritual because they're used to saying, when you get up in the morning, you're saying a prayer. When you eat, you say a prayer. And going to bed, you say a prayer. But there was no real intimacy with me and God during that time until I was about 8 months. And I guess the depression was more or less lifted and I started to worship. Well, I came and I gave birth to my son and fell back into a bit of depression because I couldn't bathe for 16 days. The cut was giving trouble to heal. And even then, I had the support of my sisters, my mother. She was there. I remember one of my sisters called and she said, Mika, if I have to stay home from work to come and be with you, I will do it. Because mommy had told me I was crying so much and mommy said, if you're crying that much, we would have to take the baby from you. We can't leave you with the baby. And I cried until I composed myself because at that point, I didn't want them to take the baby away from me. Because as I said, as of 8 months into the pregnancy is when I started to actually talk to this little guy. Before that, I didn't want to. I just knew that my belly was getting big. I never spoke to this baby. And when I started to talk to that child got so active inside of my womb. It's not funny. He got so active. That proved to me that it has a bond with mother and child before birth. And so looking back, I am convinced it's because of my support system I had that I came through that depression and pregnancy. I always say if my mother was not there, I would not have made it to this day. I believe so. But she was there along with so many other people. I remember my elder from church and her sister came. They didn't come to condemn. They didn't ask any questions pertaining to how I got myself into the situation. But they asked me, how are you going? How is the baby going? Things like that. It's not like if people knew, although I don't think that the outside world really knew, but it's like if they knew. Because even my friends, I didn't tell them they didn't know, at least to me. I don't think they know because I didn't tell them what I was going through. And Keisha called me and told me about her experience. And it was helping me. And yet they didn't know. I remember 3 of us were pregnant at that time. Me and 2 other sisters. And all the focus was on me. Even the pregnant ones, they calling me to find out how I'm going. Kim used to say, Mika, you need to try Cricks and try some Lucozade because I had terrible morning sickness. terrible. I wouldn't even call it morning sickness. It's like whole day sickness, and it lasted to about 7 months in pregnancy. It was terrible. Pastor Reed, I remember that man called religiously as if I was his daughter. Day in, day out. He will not make 2 days pass without contacting me. Folks, love is so powerful, and people could feel when you are being genuine. I truly believe that is what pulls me through in my state of depression. And for me, I think the person that condemned me was me. So, when you condemn yourself, it's the hardest thing to deal with. But I thank God that even when your heart condemns you, God is greater than your heart. So if you're out there and you're going through anything like depression, I want you to know that God loves you. He died to save you. Don't pull away from him. We tend to pull away from him when we are going through difficult situations, which should be the reverse. We should draw closer to him to draw strength from him. But we pull away. Please don't pull away. Surround yourself with people that love you. You'll be amazed to know how much people truly love you. We really need each other. From the womb to the tomb, we need each other. Love brought me through. Love took me through my period of depression. Love helped me through. Love covers a multitude of sin. Love. Love, I am convinced it is love. And as promised, I said I would highlight a phenomenal woman every time I do a video, but today I have to highlight a group of phenomenal women. And that group of phenomenal women, sisters, my 7 blood sisters and my sister-in-laws. I'm so thankful for you guys. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your genuineness. And so I pray that God will bless you all with a blessing that you don't have room to receive. And not only you guys, but all my viewers, I pray that God will do something marvelous for you. I pray that you will learn to trust him with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. So may the Lord bless and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and give you grace now and forevermore. Remember, if I came through it, which I did, you can too. And remember to be kind to people, because you don't know what they are going through. Say a nice word. Remember to smile. I have to tell myself that to remember to smile to people, because you don't know what they are going through. And a smile could make the world of difference.